Dickhead, where the fuck are you?
My bad, man. Didn't mean to butt dial the radio.
You didn't mean to. Oh my god, well thank you. Hopefully you can apologize my eardrums later too while you're at it.
Can we just move past this? I feel like that is the least of our worries.
Yeah, you're right, I get it. Wait, what were you here for again?
You forgot already.
Look, man, when we both signed up for this, I feel like you should have already known how retarded I can be sometimes.
That is true, but you know what we're here for, right? The whole thing that happened in Cleveland?
Ah, yeah, that is what we're here for. Yep, you're right. So, where do I need to go?
Well, you'll want to head to the vault that is on your left. Now, the only way that you'll be able to get in is through the ventilation shaft. That will get you into the vault itself.
Okay, well that's good. As for, like, exiting the building?
While you're retrieving the item, I'll come up with something in the meantime.
Wait a minute, you haven't even thought of an exit plan?
Listen, man, do you want the item or not?
Well, yeah, I would like the item, no shit.
Then shut up, and let's finish this. We don't exactly have a lot of time.
Copy. Stupid fucking orange Garfield looking kitty litter piece of shit. Alright, I'm in the vault room.
Okay, cool. Just grab the case and get out of there.
Copy that. And I'll just take 1 foot and step in and... Ah, shit.
Well, aren't you just the smartest thing on this side of the earth?
Fuck it, I'm getting the case, I'm getting out of here. Fuck this.
Honestly, I'm surprised you're still alive.
You know, honestly, same.
So, what exactly is in this briefcase that is so important again?
Well, you see, Kimosabi. Look at this shit. Baseball is one of the oldest sports in American history, with it thought to have been an evolutionary advancement to the game rounders, which was popular amongst children and youths in Britain and Ireland as early as the 1400s, with it even being referenced in the children's novel A Little Pretty Pocketbook in 1744. Now, why the fuck am I telling you this? Well, I figured that if I were to kind of break down what this video is all about, I might as well give you a little bit of a history lesson from yours truly. Does my little history lesson provide any sort of insight into what caused this event to take place? No. So with that little background info on the sport itself, here in today's video I'll be going over an event that has become a dark stain on the sport, but also an event that was bound to happen not only due to the crumbling economy that was happening in the city of Cleveland, as well as the fact that the only thing that was worse than Cleveland's employment program was their baseball team. Cleveland's economy in the 1970s was marked with a decline of employment in manufacturing, as well as population loss. By this time period, the city of Cleveland would lose a staggering 23.6% of its population due to the expansion of suburbs and urban sprawl, with it being the first major American city since the Great Depression to default on its loans. Unfortunately, due to these circumstances, many people, especially those that worked in factories or other forms of manufacturing, would end up losing their jobs in the process. So, with residents not only losing their jobs, but as well as their homes, as well as the city's most violent decade in its existence taking place in this time, with the murder rate at 39.5 per 100,000 people, you can see why the premise of 10-cent beer night was kind of a bad idea from the get-go. Now, before we talk about the festering shit show that would take place, we need to take it back about a week previously. 6 days earlier, the Cleveland Indians and Texas Rangers would end up in a bench-clearing brawl, creating a tension that would, no pun intended, brew until their next meeting, which would take place on June 4th, 1974. June 4th. A day that would go down in infamy within the city of Cleveland, especially within the confines of the Indians organization. The day would originally start out as quite an anticipating day. Not only were the Indians looking to seek revenge after the brawl the previous week with the Rangers, but for the fans as well. However, there was another reason for them to look forward to this day. That thing being 10-cent beer night. The reasoning behind this monstrosity of an idea was that there had been a similar event previously in 1971 held that was called Nickel Beer Day that was a massive success. So they figured that with the low attendance records throughout the year, why not use this to put more asses in the seats? Unfortunately, when looking back, there was one glaring issue between these two promotions and why one was successful and the other one was a catastrophic failure, and I will explain that later on in this video. By the time the game started, over 25,000 fans gathered into the Cleveland Municipal Stadium, twice what was originally thought. The Rangers would take a 3-1 lead early in the game, with fans becoming irritated as the hot summer weather and alcohol overtook their senses. By the 6th inning, with the Rangers ahead 5-3, fans began chanting "Hit him harder" in response to Ferguson Jenkins, one of the Rangers pitchers, being nailed by a line drive earlier in the game. Now here, right here is where things began to get really fucking crazy. Now, remember when I said that I would explain why Nickel Beer Day was a success in comparison to 10-cent beer night? Well, the reason behind it was that unlike Nickel Beer Day, there was no limit in terms of how many beers you could have throughout the night. Yeah, no shit. The only limit that was enabled was that you can only buy 6 beers at a time, which meant that you could literally buy 6 beers and get back in line and buy 6 more beers. It got so bad that employees that were working the beer stands that night straight up abandoned the site, leaving fans to consume as much as they wanted at absolutely no cost. Now here is where things went from bad to batshit insane. One woman would end up running into the on-deck circle, flashing her breasts for all the eyes to see, glorious, and then attempting to kiss umpire Nestor Shilak in the middle of the game. Next, after Texas Rangers designated hitter Tom Greaves hit his second home run of the game, a naked man wearing only one sock would sprint towards second base and slide in head first. God, my gonads. With one sports writer saying he was probably getting dirt in places unsuitable for speculation. One inning later, a father and son duo would run into the outfield and proceed to moon the fans in attendance the entire stadium. Soon, first baseman Mike Hargrove of the Texas Rangers would proceed to get pelted by hot dogs, spat on, and even goddamn fireworks would be thrown at him. How the hell do you sneak in fireworks into a baseball stadium? And at one point was nearly struck with an empty gallon jug of Thunderbird. Heading into the bottom of the 9th inning, the Indians were able to score 2 more runs off of Stephen Foucault, tying the game up 5-5. It was at this point that 19-year-old fan Terry Yurkich would proceed to charge Rangers outfielder Jeff Burrows, tripping him. The Rangers, thinking that their teammate had been attacked, would storm the field armed with bats, which would lead to the Pandora's box that was about to unfold. That being that the heavily intoxicated crowd rushed the field by the hundreds, creating a scene from 300. What was more unbelievable was that Ken Aspromonte, the Indians' manager, would order his own players to help defend the Rangers from their own fans. Rioters would begin throwing steel folding chairs onto the field, with Tom Hilgendorf, one of the Indians' relief pitchers, being hit in the head by one of them, with Hargrove, after subduing a fighter in a fist fight, would end up having to fight another one of them on the way to the dugout, with Rangers catcher Duke Sims getting into a fight with fans as well, before both teams were able to get into their clubhouses with no further injuries. The rioting continued for another 20 goddamn minutes, with them throwing cups, rocks, bottles, hot dogs, batteries, popcorn containers, and even more folding chairs. Later, umpire and crew chief Shylock would state later that he'd never seen anything like it except in a zoo. Soon, Cleveland police as well as Cleveland SWAT department would put an end to the riots a short time later. By the end of all of it, 3 bags were stolen and 9 fans were arrested. Unbelievably, no one losing their life that night. Despite the uncontrollable chaos that was conceived that night, the Indians, who must have been on some kind of drugs at that moment in time, I mean, it was the 70s after all, who knows, would end up hosting another 10-cent beer night on July 11th, just over a month after the incident. However, thankfully, this was completed without incident with a limit of 2 cups per person, and with 200 police officers on standby at the ballpark. While the night left a massive black eye on the image and reputation of Cleveland, which, honestly, I feel like there's a lot worse things that have gone down in Cleveland, today the event is remembered through throwback t-shirts marking the night that beer, riots, violence, firecrackers, folding chairs, naked fans, breasts, and baseball became intertwined for a brief moment. And all I gotta say is, well done, Cleveland. Well fucking done. Also, I'm now streaming on Twitch. Why? I don't know. I've always thought about doing it, but I never really had any rhyme or reason to. Might as well throw it in there, so in case you guys want to watch me live stream and probably do some stupid shit while playing video games, you're more welcome to check that out.